you ever taken revenge on a cheating partner in a way that backfired? We've been married for 11 years. 2 kids, joint mortgage, minivan, the whole checklist. I used to think we were one of those couples who could handle anything. I wasn't naive. I knew marriages got boring, routine, stretched thin, but I thought we were on the same side. Turns out we weren't. At least not anymore. It started small. She became distant. More makeup, more gym sessions, more nights out with the girls where she'd come home late and pretend she was too tired to talk. I wasn't suspicious, just sad. We hadn't touched each other in almost 4 months. Then one day, while helping our daughter with her math homework on the family iPad, I saw a message pop up. I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't snooping. It just appeared. A message from a name I didn't recognize with a heart emoji. I tapped it, just once. I wish I hadn't. There were months' worth of conversations, photos, late-night fantasies, plans to get away for a weekend. One message said, "I just wish he'd finally find out so I could stop pretending." I stared at that line for a long time. I didn't confront her that night, or the next. Instead, I copied everything, transferred it to a folder named Taxes 2019 on my work drive. I started researching custody laws, started journaling, documenting who took care of what, who packed the lunches, who cleaned the house, and then I did something I'm still not sure was smart, but it worked. I booked us a couples therapy session and asked her to go, pretending I felt disconnected. She agreed. She probably thought it would help her exit strategy, like framing me as distant, closed off, unloving. But in the second session, I handed the therapist a sealed envelope. Inside were printouts of the messages. I told her, calmly, that I knew, that I wasn't yelling, I wasn't threatening, but that from this moment forward, everything would change. My wife froze. The therapist asked if she wanted to speak. She just cried. I didn't ask for a divorce. Not yet. Instead, I told her we'd be getting a postnup. That she'd sign away rights to our home and I'd keep full custody unless she wanted this to go public, to her family, to our community, to her job. I gave her one out: therapy, full transparency, and a chance to stay in the kids' lives. We've been in therapy for a year now. She's quiet, smaller than she used to be. Not physically, just dimmer. I don't trust her. I'm not sure I ever will. But the kids are happy. The house is calm. And I never lost my dignity. Sometimes revenge doesn't look like screaming or cheating back. Sometimes it looks like sitting in silence, handing over the evidence, and letting someone realize they've already burned the bridge. You're just not the one who has to light the match. I was 22, he was 28. I thought dating someone older meant maturity, stability, a grown man who wouldn't waste my time. I was wrong. Turns out it just meant older lies. His name was Carter. Graphic designer, tattoos, charming. In that I meditate and make pour-over coffee kind of way. He made me playlists, took me to overpriced movie theaters with couches, and introduced me to his friends as my girl. I fell for him hard. About a year in, things started to feel off. He stopped texting me goodnight, started canceling plans last minute, got weirdly protective over his phone, like literally took it into the shower. One night, I saw a notification light up from someone named M. My gut said everything I didn't want to believe, so I did what every girl swears she won't do until she does. I waited until he was asleep, and I checked. Not just M, there was also Zoe and Michelle, and someone saved as Tom's friend who was very much not Tom's friend. The worst part wasn't that he cheated. The worst part was that he had reused the same lines with all of us. Copy-pasted compliments, the same damn playlist. I cried in silence that night. Got up the next morning, made coffee, told him I wasn't feeling well, so I'd stay home while he went to work. And then I got to work. I opened his design portfolio, the one he used to apply for freelance jobs, and I beautified it, meaning I added screenshots of his sexts as sample typography. I edited captions under each project to say things like, designed during a week of emotional cheating, inspirational quote, "You make me feel things she never could." I uploaded it, sent the link to his LinkedIn, removed my name from all shared Netflix, Spotify accounts. left his house key on his keyboard, taped to a note that said, "Your work is finally honest. Congratulations." Then I blocked him everywhere. He found out 2 days later. Tried to call, emailed, then got angry, said I violated his career. I said he violated my trust. Not the same scale, but here we are. It's been 8 months. I'm not going to say I'm healed. Some songs still sting. Some nights still suck. But I don't miss him. I miss the version of myself that thought he was the one. Now I build things. Real things. Not relationships with expiration dates, but art that lasts. And I remind myself, if someone treats your love like a draft folder, never feel bad for hitting publish. I'm not proud of what I did, but I'm not sorry either. We'd been dating for about 14 months. Her name was Layla. She worked at a clothing store and had the best laugh I'd ever heard. Loud, unfiltered, real. We met through friends, moved in fast, argued like siblings, kissed like movie characters, and fought about dumb stuff like TikTok volume and where the forks go in the drawer. She was my first serious relationship. The first sign something was off, her screen time dropped. Like, way down. Which is weird because she used to scroll for hours. Suddenly her phone was always off, or charging in the other room. She also started going to yoga 3 times a week, except she always came back smelling like cologne and cheap whiskey. Maybe yoga got rebranded. Anyway, one night she came home late, clearly tipsy, threw her purse on the couch, went straight to bed. She forgot to lock her phone. I know I shouldn't have, but I did. There were texts, photos, voice notes, not just one guy, 3. One of them saved in her contacts as muffin delivery. I swear to God, I didn't even feel angry, just cold. Like my stomach dropped out and left a hole behind. I didn't want to yell. I didn't even want to confront her. I wanted her to know that I knew, in a way she'd never forget. So I did the dumbest thing I could think of. She had this Instagram account she was building. Fashion, wellness, whatever. She was obsessed with it. Curated to death. Everything pink and aesthetic. That night, I logged in. She'd given me her password months ago to help with reels. I didn't post anything obscene. I didn't delete the account. I just rearranged everything. I posted screenshots of the guys she'd been texting. No names, no nudity, just hints. I changed the bio to, currently dating 3 guys and none of them know about each other. And I turned the grid into a weird, chaotic collage using Canva, made her aesthetic feed look like a ransom note. Then I logged out and went to sleep on the couch. When she woke up and saw what I did, she screamed like someone died. She ran around trying to delete stuff, called me a psycho, said I violated her brand. I just nodded. Guess I'm not muffin-worthy anymore. She moved out that week. Was it mature? Nope. Do I regret it? Not really. I never got my dignity back, but I did get closure, in the form of watching her cry over hashtags. I'm 31 now. Happily in a stable, boring, peaceful relationship with someone who uses one phone, one boyfriend, and no yoga as a front for sex. Sometimes I see Lila's new account pop up. She rebuilt. She rebranded. She even posted about healing from narcissistic exes. Good for her. We both moved on. Some lessons are loud. Some are just really, really dumb and involve Canva. Mine was both. We were together 12 years. Married for 9. Built a life. Bought a house. Raised 2 dogs. No kids. Not for lack of trying, just timing, health stuff, pressure. He used to say, as long as I have you, I have everything. Turns out he wanted everything plus someone from his gym. Her name was Tasha, personal trainer, blonde, tattooed, the kind of woman who looks like she runs on black coffee and Instagram followers. I knew something was wrong months before I had proof. The late-night workouts, the sudden concern for core strength, the way his phone was always face down. I didn't want to believe it. I thought maybe I was being insecure, overthinking. I didn't check his phone at first. I respected privacy, but he got sloppy. One night, he left his phone unlocked on the bathroom counter. There were texts, photos, a voice message that started with, "I miss your hands," and ended with, "You're so much better than her." I stared at the screen for maybe 10 minutes. Then I put the phone back, wiped the counter, and climbed into bed. He wrapped an arm around me like everything was fine. The next morning, I woke up early and made him pancakes, his favorite. I asked about his day, kissed his cheek. I was calm. Too calm. That scared me more than anything. For the next 3 weeks, I planned my exit. I called a lawyer. I took photos of the texts. I stopped contributing to the joint account. I started moving small amounts into my personal savings, the one he didn't know I had. I met with a realtor, quietly updated the home value estimate, canceled my automatic bill payments, reconnected with a friend I hadn't spoken to in years who happened to be a divorce mediator. And I waited for the right moment. It came on our 10th anniversary. He had booked a dinner. Fancy place, white tablecloths, reservation under Mr. and Mrs. I wore the dress he always liked, the deep red one, smiled through every course, laughed at his dumb jokes, toasted to forever. Then, when dessert came, I handed him a card. Inside was a copy of the text he sent her, the one with the voice note, a copy of the bank withdrawal summary, and a printed draft of the divorce filing. No words, just papers. He looked up at me, stunned. I took a sip of wine. "Happy anniversary," I said. "I'm finally choosing myself." I stood up, walked out, left him with the bill. He begged, called, swore it was a mistake, a phase, just physical. Said I was cold, said I was cruel. Maybe. Or maybe I just learned that when someone forgets your worth long enough, eventually, you remind them by walking away without a word of anger. It's been a year. I sleep diagonally now. I read books with endings I don't already know. I got a tattoo. I still wear the red dress. But only for me. Some women burn it all down when they're betrayed. I just turned off the lights, packed what was mine, and let him sit in the dark he created. I was 31 when I found out my husband was having an affair. We'd been married for almost 6 years. No kids. We were waiting until we felt stable, which in hindsight was his way of saying, never. But I like the excuse. He worked in finance. Long hours, business dinners, phone always upside down on the table. I'd asked a few times if he was seeing someone else, not because I suspected, but because I needed reassurance. He always laughed. "You think I have time to cheat on top of all this stress?" Turns out he did. Her name was Megan, HR assistant, 24, wore those huge tortoiseshell glasses like they gave her credibility. I found out because he left his Apple Watch at home one morning, and it started lighting up with her texts while he was in the shower. The texts were vivid. I didn't say a word. I handed him his watch, kissed him goodbye, told him to have a good day at work. That night, while he was out networking, I opened a Google Doc and titled it, Exit Plan. I gave myself 6 weeks. In that time, I started quietly separating my finances, opened my own bank account, reached out to a real estate agent friend, set up a P.O. box, stopped refilling the fridge with the stuff he liked, turned down sex, told him I was stressed. He bought it. I printed the texts. I hired a lawyer, I got everything in order, and then I waited until the first day of his big annual conference, the one he always hyped up like he was accepting a Nobel. I packed everything while he was on the plane, left my wedding ring on his nightstand, the papers on the kitchen table. I didn't leave a note, just my new address on file with my attorney. He came home 3 days later to a half-empty apartment and legal separation notice with a clause about infidelity, which, fun fact, nullified our prenup. He'd tried to protect his future earnings and handed them straight to me. He called, begged, then yelled, then cried. I didn't pick up. It wasn't that I didn't still love him. I did. But I wasn't going to beg for space in the life of someone who already chose someone else. It's been 2 years. I live alone now, in a small place with way too many plants. I travel when I feel like it. I took a ceramics class. My hands are always covered in clay. He still sends emails. Just checking in. Hope you're okay. Still miss you. I never answer. Some ghosts don't deserve to be exorcised. They deserve to sit in silence and remember who they lost, and I'm not the one who lost anything. We were both 23, college sweethearts if you believe in that crap. I met her in sophomore year, English major, insanely smart. Cute in that messy hair library way. I fell fast. Too fast, maybe. After a year of dating, we decided to move into a shared dorm apartment. 2 bedrooms, tiny kitchen, gross bathroom. Felt like a palace. I thought it was a new chapter. Turns out she'd already started writing a different one. I found out she was cheating during finals week because, of course, I came home early from a group project to grab my charger, opened the door, and there she was, not even in bed, just up against the kitchen counter. Him, some dude from her econ class, I think. Shirt halfway off, hands everywhere. I didn't even say anything. I just turned around and walked out. Calm, numb. They didn't even notice me. I sat on the quad bench for almost 2 hours, staring at nothing. Then something switched. I went back to the dorm, waited until she was out, probably with him, grabbed my speaker and blasted a playlist I called Songs You Cheated To. It included Before He Cheats, Irreplaceable, Loyal, that one Taylor Swift song everyone knows, and, because I'm petty, Mr. Brightside on loop. I printed a screenshot of one of her sexts. Yes, I had them. We shared an iPad, and pinned it to the fridge with the note. Thought you might want a copy since you clearly forgot we synced our devices. I also left her a card. It said, break a leg at graduation, hope he's worth it. Then I packed up, moved my stuff to a friend's couch, blocked her on everything. She tried to text, call, said I was overreacting. Her friends told me I was being dramatic. Cool. They can date her now. I won't lie, for weeks I wanted to scream, wanted to get even, to humiliate her publicly. But then I realized I already did what I needed. I left. That was the win. Not the playlist, not the note. Just walking away before I lost more of myself. I graduated, moved states, got a job I like. Sometimes I wonder if she thinks about that moment, catching me watching them for a split second and walking away. I hope she does, because I still remember it, and I still feel proud that I didn't fall apart. I walked out. When I found out my girlfriend had been cheating, I didn't scream, I didn't cry, I just shut down. We'd been together 3 years, lived together, split rent, raised a dog. I thought we were solid. Turns out she was sleeping with a coworker and labeling it networking. I saw everything on her iPad. Open messages, hotel bookings, voice notes with his name saved under a girl's emoji. They weren't even being careful. The night I found out, I went completely numb. She was on the couch, laughing at some show. I looked at her like a stranger. My first instinct was to rage, but I didn't. I waited. For 2 weeks, I acted normal. I kissed her goodbye, brought her coffee, made dinner. During that time, I quietly moved my direct deposit to a new solo bank account, transferred my half of the savings, updated the lease under just my name, and collected every bit of proof I could find. Then, on her birthday, I gave her a gift. Literally. I handed her a neatly wrapped envelope. Inside, screenshots of her messages, a signed separation notice, and a list of everything that had already been taken care of. Her face went pale. She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. I told her I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to ruin her career or out her to her family. I just wanted her out. That day, no drama. She tried to cry, begged, then cursed me, then cried again. She left. And when the door shut, I sat down on the floor and cried harder than I had in years. Not because I wanted her back, but because I realized how deeply I had betrayed myself trying to love someone who stopped loving me a long time ago. It took months to feel normal again. I went to therapy. I stopped blaming myself. I learned to love quiet mornings, my own company, and my dog sleeping on my feet.